Tuesday, Simone Claridge here, your natural healing expert, or even going more into the conscious healing expert, right? So, because consciousness is the healer. And I think that the question is really interesting that I got the other day. Where is the strength coming from? And I thought that's definitely a good starting point to discuss more who we truly are and where is actually your strength and your life force energy coming from. And most people answer that I tested that out. They say, yeah, because you have to eat your food and you drink, and that is major. Which is true because of we believe that this is true. And so the most people have been growing up like that. So therefore there is a kind of a programming in our survival mechanism that will urge you to eat, and because that's, you know, that's mom did that and her mom did that, and feeding the generations, right? So but there are how you say, natural folks. They are not needing to eat that much, or mainly they don't need to eat. There are only a couple of people looks like on the planet like that. They are living on air, because the elements of that we need for our survival are in a different form, much easier in the air already. So I mean, to access and to say digest for our system is much easier already in the air. That's what they say. I have no proof to that. So I just notice that we all are usually, as humans, in a natural process with a program that we need to eat and drink in order to survive. But I'm a fan of and serious, and maybe you all have heard about this on TV. It's called Naked and Afraid, where they send people to remote areas on the planet, and they not just send them out in those remote areas, they also take their clothes away and their food. So the people have to survive on the land, on nature, being a part of nature, and they have 21 days, usually sometimes 14 days for starting people. Like, they don't have so much of survival skills, but they choose them wisely. So it's not everyone's, I mean, everyday person, you know, so you have to have some good training, and you have to prove that to the producer. Anyway, so I love that show because there are so many, how I say, proof to that is not true what we think, and how individual this actually can be. So your strength is said comes from the food. In those cases, well, there have been some of the survivalists, they really didn't had a lot of food. And I mean, they did maybe get some roots and, you know, some tiny little bugs or something like that, but they did survive. And the most impressive one was for me, and a little girl, if you want to say so. I mean, she was tiny. She was small already when she came on the challenge, and she only lost 6 pounds, and they didn't had food. And that was very interesting for me. I think she was the one is lost the least weight without really eating. And well, I mean, there's a lot of things where, I mean, it's contradict to the belief that you have to have proteins. When people say proteins, you have to have meat. I mean, they survive 21 days and go through huge extractions. Means they have to go back and will be picked up on miles of the distance where they are at the point, you know, when they are dropped off. And so, I mean, this requires, if you are, maybe you have been sick, you know, and you remember how weak you feel, that does require some muscle and some energy, right? So, and then like, where do they get this from? Well, I really love the question because of we do have a different ability to also get our life force energy in different ways. And because you are not just a physical body, so your physical body may really need certain things, which is totally cool. But if you would have a change in your perception, say your family has been now set on an island, and this island doesn't deliver the food that you had eaten before, and now you are asked for even grow your food, and you know how it goes. It is in season. Some food you only can grow so much. Maybe in the beginning you have to make the right environment for food that it can grow. Then it will take time to get the food that you may have been used to eat. So just think of, you come from your environment and someone takes your whole family and sets it on an island, and now you need to learn how to survive that. That is a really drastic change. And I mean, this is definitely possible that some of your family members, because of this drastic change, will not survive if they have to stay there, right? So they may become very unhealthy because that is a really drastic change. But if the changes are small enough, step by step, and you know, I mean, your environment and you are now starting to become a unity and grow the land and observe nature, come in rhythm with nature, knowing when the animals come, where the animals come, if you want to hunt something, notice their rhythms, and so you become in that rhythm of the nature and with yourself in the environment, integrated in nature. It still will take generations to adapt to that. So it does, evolution will have an impact on your generational line, but over generations. So what I'm saying is that you as a human being have a building plan that made you up, but this building plan that made you up also is dependent on the environment you are in. So if that is all easy and it's all in agreement, right? So the environment and the way how you are built, that is all cool and it all fits, then it will lay it out and you have a good life, say in this way. If the building plan and the environment are starting to be not in agreement, then what will happen is that adaptation and variation of lifestyles needs to happen. And those are variations, so they will not affect right away your DNA, building plan. That will take a while. That has to travel or change your complete information. As I said, that is a long-term, over generation change required in order to adapt, and then adapt this to the next generation and the next generation and the next generation. I believe, as I remember correctly, it's about 4 generations. It might be even more. That change is then merged together as a complete new, I would say, member of the generational line. So it does take a moment. So this information, the environment, and the building plan has to merge to something new, and then that needs an. We talked about that we need certain motions in order to make those changes a reality. So we will need certain motions that they're described as opening and closing, gathering and dispersing, and coming in and flowing out or going out process in order to transform something. And then that change of everything will make the change happen. So the strength, we are talking about strength. I went very far beyond that, you may think, but no, let me come back here. Strength, the information from where you do get your strength is also from the environment. So suppose, just imagine you're on the beach, and you have been on the beach probably, and you had sunny days, and you probably remember that when you are enjoying the day on the beach, the first day, because you have been working so hard, might be a little bit that you resting a lot and you really start to relax, and that makes you feel tired, maybe. So then you start to sleep a little bit more, which, snoring on the beach is not a bad thing, right? So, and then you are charging up, and the next day might still be the same, but the third day you're probably starting to feel more energized. And then you may look for things to do on the beach, because it's getting then too boring to just sit there and do nothing. Most people start to find something. So they may play ball, or they run along the coast, or walk along the coastline or the beach, and then they go into water and they surf and they swim and so on. And you probably will feel strength coming into you, and you also will maybe realize that you do not need to eat that much. How is that, right? So you're getting more active, but you don't need to eat it that much. Well, that's definitely my observation, and I hope you have somewhere the line situations like this where you really can confirm that you had really strenuous, or where you needed more strength, more energy, if you want to say so, and but you couldn't eat, and it came in a different way. So now let's look what you have for conditions on the beach. First of all, all your senses are now in a natural environment, and there's a natural ebb and flow of the water. And that sound is something very soothing for our nervous system. So the nervous system starts to calm down. And it is getting into that rhythm, right? So I can sit for hours and just sit and look at the ocean. So which includes in the sense that vastness of the element, if you want to say so, and the beauty of it. So that's now coming in through the eyes, the ears, the sounds of the water, and then the birds and whatever else you hear. The wind is making an orchestra of music. So that is really helping our nervous system to slow down, to calm down, and so therefore that what we are usually in our daily life activities encounter is that stress level goes way down. So I hope that you're not coming internally with the idea of, oh, I have to work, I have to work. I'm talking about really you are off of work, there's no project, right? So there's nothing to do, you just can hang out. And when that happens, most people feel and strength in their being coming alive. They feel more alive because they are now connected more with life. And I do think that most people have an experience like that. So there was also sun. I mean, you're hanging out on the beach when there's sun usually, right? So, or you are able to build in, I mean, a lot of clothes. I mean, put a lot of clothes on and then, you know, have a little chair and sit even in cold days. But I mean, if it's rainy, it's a little bit tough to stay outside on the beach and enjoying that for a long time. So what I want to say is usually there's sun to it. There are the elements of wind, your view, everything is merging together and making a change within you, creating a motion of ease. And because of you starting to let go, you open up for the environment, and then you bring in the energy of the environment is starting to exchange. So it's kind of you open the door or the window and you allow that to come in, and that what was not so healthy is actually, like from the energy level, is moving out, and there's an exchange happening. So that merging and dispersing process builds up and builds up until it's so full that you overflow. And going out and coming in, that continues to a critical point. And so if you're a certain while in on vacation, there comes this critical point where I feel, oh my God, why I'm not doing this my whole life, right? So that is a change of that feeling, how you feel about yourself. And there's usually not a lot of food involved in that. That is more because the energies of the surrounding and the information of the surroundings are helping you to let go of that what is actually draining you. So it helps to soothe you. So it does have definitely an influence where you are and what you choose for an environment, where you grew up with. All these have influences on your life force energy and how well you are adapting to your environment. So just let's summarize. I mean, your strength is not just coming through food. Your strength is if you are really in the environment that suits you, the way how you are built, the way how you are born into, right? So that's question number one. Then if you are in an environment that is challenge you on a continuous basis, stressing you out, then that is taking your strength away, and that's an energetic experience. That is on. I mean, people say I'm empty, or my energy level is low, or something like this, and it is possible to top that with food, but not just. So you know that. I mean, you eat a lot of food, and if that would be the truth, that you can top your energy levels with, or your strength by food only, then it makes sense that when you eat a lot of food, that you get stronger, right? No, but that's not the case. Usually what I see happening, and especially when you look at the Naked and Afraid series, there's quite some people, they are really accustomed to eat a lot. and a lot of meat, as they describe, eggs and bacon and whatever to it. And I mean, I'm always wonder, I mean, how long they will stay in it, because their strength is only focused on the physical muscle mass. But there is more to strength in order to flow in your body. And they are usually the ones, they have, I mean, often, I mean, detoxification, where the body wants to get rid of all these buildup and so on mass. And they usually are the ones that are bitten the most, have issues, right? So, and usually what I see is when the reason for their bulking up, for their muscle mass, don't get me wrong, there are some cool, strong built bodies out there, right? And they are really flexible and survive. But I mean, a couple of them are not. They are just kind of built up mass, and then the body cannot handle this mass so much, and then they don't have food. The body will get rid of that overgrowth, right? So, and they usually are not doing too good, and they often are the ones that tapping out and leave the challenge. So it is not just one thing that brings your power. So we have been still not answering the question, where's your power coming from, right? So, so for the physical level, most people have been thinking it's food, and I'm proving to you over the course, hopefully more it's coming, that that's a part of it, but their strength in the physical is a result. It is not the causing factor. So we also realize that the environment that you are in and where you are grown up with and your generational line is important, because it's your building plan. That's what you got, what you're used to, what you're trained to, what your subconscious accepts as a programming, like this is how life goes. And to go against, I mean, programming is not the easiest. So, and I don't think we want to go against something. We want to adapt to a lifestyle, or through our lifestyle, to connect to our highest potential and to bring the strength in from there. So in my own experiences, you already have the strength, you already have the health, and all the other ones are results of that, what you're anchoring yourself in to believe it is. And as I said, in my own experience, if you know you can, then there will be still challenges. Life is still going on. That is evolution. That is a given, but not to your core, not to your center. If there's ways of training your staying in the center, that's what our martial arts are doing, right? And they play then through the arts of fight to prove that, right? So there is I mean, healer, if you want to say so. It's if they are conscious healer, they pull you back to your strength, to your power, where it really comes from. And when you have that, then when you can anchor yourself fully and completely, more and more into the source of the universe, in an ongoing, perpetuating energy flow, so to speak, that you still live. Don't get me wrong. There are still things that will happen, but this will not throw you off of knowing it's the wave of the ocean, and you can dive with your consciousness very deep down to a very deep point. You still have things moving on. I mean, I don't know, people think that when they have a master, they don't get sick and they don't have this and they don't have that. No, it's the application of what you know is correct, consciously, to know there's a power and now apply it to every day's life situation over and over and over again. That makes an athlete to a very special athlete, world-class athlete, and it makes you to a unconscious healer, and bringing your power in, your strength in. So I'm often way underestimated in my weight. As an example, my weight is, it was dropping when I do fastings, of course, but not too extreme. But I had some healing phases where I definitely went through some healing of liver and so on, and my skin was yellow, and yeah, okay, fine. But you are coming out of that again, and you come back to strength, and you come back to life, and now better. So the lifestyle I have been adapting to becomes healthier, more accustomed to keep that state. Once you're more anchored, there is a sense of knowing that certain things will help us and certain things will not. If I don't know, I will have to test it out, right? So that takes all the research and so like digging and jumping in and staying on a research level. That takes that a little bit out of the equation. So it brings you also into the practice. So that's what I need and want for you. So all people, they are very strong on, yeah, I have read about this needs to be eaten and that makes me strong and all these superfoods and whatsoever. How about we anchor yourself now in your body knows exactly what to do? How about you are coming to your center, and from there you are proving to yourself that health is already a given. Energy and strength is already a given. So if you don't have a health right now, so where is it that you are, say, not connected and covering the truth with something else? That is more the question. Your strength is already there. There's nothing you need to do in order to have a strength. There's nothing needs to be done in order to be healthy in the oneness state. If you are not full in capacity and are not healthy feeling and are not feeling strong, then there is something that you want to make an experience with that seems to be out of balance, so to speak, that seems to show you different results than what you should actually have. It's innate. You got that. It's your building plan, right? So, well, as a conscious being, if we can make changes to nature in a massive level, why can't you make it a massive change to that it doesn't belong to you and bring that in? Why is that? Wouldn't that be the question that we all would need to ask, right? So I would love to see that you advocate more health. You advocate more strength is already there. You advocate more that I'm already healed state. So if it's not there, you only ask the question, so why don't I have it? It's given to me. So what's happening? So get curious more on that, right? And instead of think that something is wrong with anything that's, outside of you. Say certain food is not good for you. If you if you came to that realization, that's a different ballgame. But if you just read about it because someone tells you, and then usually you find another, if you go into another opinion, another person's idea, then you say, well, they are often very contrary. So please go with what feels right. Relax. Anytime you eat, you're stressing yourself out when you already don't know what to eat. Stop doing that. Just, okay, relax. Number one. And then, I mean, when you think that your strength comes from food, relax. Enjoy your food. When you start to relax, your whole body starts to, synchronize, and you will start to notice. You will start to notice, well, I have strength. Does this make me stronger, right? Could be a good question. And what would be the food that I could eat or not eat, or more eat or less eat? However, you will know when you come to that point. So there's no worries, no overthinking necessary in order to answer those questions for you. So, I mean, you will be surprised, but the body can handle so much. I mean, people they are in sports, they probably know that already. And they trust that anything that is injured, that it will heal, right? So there's nothing you need to think. So why do we think so much about the food? I do think it is a very good idea to acknowledge and research and then make up your mind. Acknowledge and research, what do you want? In my opinion, it is the most important part. The changes always come from above, traveling below. It's never the other way. This might be a feedback system that we can use. So our past, the way of what you eat now, can be helpful just to gather information. What are you doing right now that is causing you to have the situation you might want to change? So for that, that's cool. But this is not required to make a change. For what's required to make a change is you set your mind in the right position and you have the willpower to stay with your mind focused in your center and your core. And you do it again and again and again. And you can accept that there is evolution happening because the whole universe has been created for the beginning of, since the beginning of time, like in step-by-step changes. So there is no fast pill that you can pop and make the changes. It is not happening. There are probably along the line when we are able to gather more strength, energy in the body, which is required for a change as well. So you do need a certain level of information that you hold strongly and a level of energy that is available to make certain transformation happen. Meanwhile, we are going through the motions of opening and closing events and new situations. So living life, gathering and dispersing, flowing in and coming out. Those are all motions. They are required in our daily activity to bring energy to building more strength, so to speak, right? So I hope that you can start from the highest of your possible intention and then question yourself just, okay, so if I have that thought, there must be somewhere an access for me. I can't see it right now. That's, well, my life has looked like that. Then check that out. How is your life looking? So what are you doing in order to have not that what you obviously are able of thinking about, and that what's there? So, and then accept there needs to be smaller increments taken every day on a continuous basis. And that will make the changes, the transformation for long-standing. And that's what I'm standing for. We want long-lasting results. Not the ones they are briefly because of, everyone knows if you are going on a fast, as an example, and you are not adding water into your body, so you're sweating a lot for a couple of days, then that's most likely that you will gain back the water that you have been losing in this process, and then you will have on the scale the previous weight, probably not that much, but I mean, not fully and completely the same weight, but I mean, you're probably pretty much back to the same weight. You also notice that this has a negative impact on you, and then you keep going where it's like, oh my God, I am not able to do that. Well, and then you keep going and going, and then it's growing. That is growing. And as a result, your body is growing. If you notice how strong you are as a creator, then you may just notice how strong you have been holding on that what you don't want. So that would be something on a physical level. Just check out what are the things that you're looking for. Your strength is coming from multiple sources. Realize that you can use the natural strength, the sunlight penetrating through your body is a complete different experience than if you have a heating source, especially if you would use an electric heater. If you stand in front of an electric heater, that penetration is feelable, how far this actually can go. If you stand in the sunlight, compare that to the electric heater, you will know where the difference is. The sunlight goes right to the bones, right into the center. It's penetrating so much deeper. And so we have more influencing environmental factors that are contributing to energizing you, making you, to the strong being you are capable of being. All right, and then don't forget that the universe is an outpouring bliss. That is abundantly. That energy is available abundantly. So we don't need to worry that there is a shortage, because there is no. And please just try it out and see if you relax and see, okay, can I enjoy my food? And see if it does make me stronger, instead of, oh, that's food, that's bad for me, or that's a food I have to have. If I don't have it, then I'm stressed out, right? So just try this out and see what the results will be for you. So you have a strength in your physical that will result if you continue doing this on a daily basis and give it time. So I hope that you're on board with that, and see you then the next. Hey, Sally Liesel, wow, I didn't see you here. Naked and Afraid, yes. That's cool. Hey, Sally, love you. All right, so see you then the next time. And a wave to you. Bye-bye, guys.